You know what I love the most about the women who are part of the Ask Basia video podcast? They are not threatened by other women doing great things. This is the place where queens pull up from around the world to discuss issues affecting all women. These women are brilliant. They wear several hats and a crown. This week, we're discussing Will You Remarry Part 1. This is going to be epic. And if you don't believe me, just watch.
Hey guys, it's your girl Basia. Welcome to Ask Basia Video Podcast. And as you know, when you see this face, you know what time it is. It's Tuesday. And I can't wait because guess what? Our topic today is Will you get married again? And my queens are about to let you know what time it is. I am so excited. This is going to be a juicy topic, and we're getting straight to it as I want to introduce my squad. Hey, ladies, how you doing? Welcome.
Hi.
I've missed you guys so much, but we're together again, and I'm so happy. Are you all ready for today's topic? Before I do the introductions and tell them a little bit about you, are you ready? There's a big one.
Yes.
A lot of people are excited about this, but before I do that, I want to say welcome back to my Latina queen all the way in Los Angeles, California. My girl Ariel Paredes is back. Let me tell you a bit about Ariel. Ariel Paredes is a writer, actor, and stand-up comedian. She has developed years of experience and with published work covering press junkets, travel pieces, arts, and entertainment. Also have performed all over Los Angeles at the famed Laugh Factory and the Comedy Store. She reflected herself in comedy by creating her own culturally diverse, female-driven show called It's Not Me, It's Definitely You. A graduate of Boston College, she used her business skill set from working at HBO to take that to the next level in her own personal endeavors, creating new and exciting content. You can follow her on Instagram at RelWorld3, and it's also in her subtitle. I want to welcome back my girl, my sister, and from Washington, D.C., the one and only Miss Lesley Ann Bailey. I would also like to say Lesley Ann Bailey is a Trinidadian American. She's an occupational therapist, an entrepreneur, and a graduate of Howard University. Lesley Ann is based in DC, and you can keep up with her on Instagram at eyebrows72. And welcome back to the best dentist in Charlotte, North Carolina. I say this without apology. Dr. Gabrielle Victoria Williams Beatty. I have that right? Is in the building. I don't know if the doctor is using her last name in her practice. So just go and ask Dr. Williams, but the married name is Beatty. Dr. V. Beatty, Williams Beatty, graduated from Hampton University in Hampton, Virginia in 2001 with a BS in molecular biology. She later graduated from UNC Chapel Hill School of Dentistry in 2005 with a DDS. Currently, she runs her own practice in Piedmont Dentistry Smiles, located in the university area of Charlotte, North Carolina, where the best dentist practices, which was established in 2011. Dr. Williams is a member of the A.J. Williams Study Club and the Old North State Dental Society. She's married to Elijah Beatty. I know I'm messing up the man's name, but I'm so sorry, Mr. Beatty. And they have a 4-year-old daughter, Elle. In her free time, she enjoys traveling and belongs to 2 book clubs. You can follow her on Instagram at the handle below her name. I think it's Petit Mag. Is that a pronunciation? Petit Mag?
Petite Magique.
Oh, sorry. See, in French, Petit Magique. Thank you for that. Right, I am not the best at linguistics. We have a freshman in the building, a new queen. Asali Ude was born in Harlem, New York. Welcome, Asali, to the panel. She's one of 4 children to Lavana and William Hatcher. She attended Bennington College in Bennington, and later worked at the hospital for special surgery for 11 years. She took a hiatus from the corporate world from 2012 to 2015 to raise her children. She resides in Bergen County, New Jersey, where she's pursuing a career in real estate. You can follow her on Instagram at Asali Ude. Asali is a real estate mogul. Actually, our first mogul. Yeah, I call her it. And last but by no means least, one of the veterans on the Ask Basia platform, Dr. Ayana Elaine Eastman, is a native of Trinidad and Tobago. She resides in Tennessee. She believes in the importance of pursuing your dreams. Her career path has included communications and public relations experiences with state and international agencies such as the United Nations. At present, she's an assistant professor of communication and a single mother of a tenacious 14-year-old girl. An avid writer, she shares her thoughts and musings on motherhood, singleness, dating, and more on her blog, Successful Mom. In her spare time, she hikes mountain trails, plan events, and most of all, she wants you to know she's a woman of God. You can follow her on Instagram at Successful Mom. Woo! That's a mouthful. Ladies, welcome. I can't wait to get into it. I've missed you guys, but I'm so glad that we are together again because we have a lot to catch up on. And we're discussing this juicy one. Will you get remarried? This is a big one. And I want to start with the married woman in the building. So, Dr. Victoria Williams. Gabrielle Victoria Williams. I'm starting with you. I just want a yes or no answer. Will you remarry if you had to? No? No, the answer is no. We're not hearing Dr. Williams very well. I'm not sure what's the reason for that, but thankfully she's good at sign language. And she said no. Okay. We will then go to our freshman on the panel, Asali Ude.
Yes.
What say you? Are you willing to walk down the aisle again? Should things, we don't want to call, negativity into the fray, but if you were put in a position, let's put it that way, would you consider getting married again?
No.
Yes or no? No.
No.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Lesley Ann Bailey, among the married women on the panel, you're next. Would you consider getting married again?
Absolutely not.
Whoa. Okay, let's try the divorcee. Maybe the divorcee will have a different perspective. Dr. Ayana Elaine Eastman, would you consider getting married again?
No. Yes.
Oh, okay. We'll come back to what the no means later on. So, Ariel Paredes, as the single queen on this panel, are you concerned as to why these ladies are not willing to go down the aisle? Do you want to get married? That's my question.
Yes. First, I definitely want to get married. Yes, for sure.
Oh,
yes.
we got a yes.
Yes.
We got a yes.
Yes. We got a yes. No, I'm fascinated to know why they wouldn't again. And were they thinking in the context of like it being a big celebration or like a small intimate thing? Like, yeah, why wouldn't you want to, if you met somebody again?
Well, I will give you the opportunity to ask them that shortly.
I'm so curious.
Because I want to know too. However, in the interest of full transparency, as a happily married woman, and I insert the word happy, because I'm sure all these queens are also happy. It has nothing to do with happy or not happy. It has to do, I guess, with some sort of mindset. I don't know. I can't answer for them. But I won't be interested in getting married again if those cards were dealt to me. Absolutely not. I have no interest in it. I had a very nice discussion with my husband before. I had to prepare him for this show because, and I said, I don't want you to get any ideas. I don't want you to think that your wife is angry at you and I have issues, but these are the reasons why. So I outlined my reasons to him and he said he knows his wife and he figured that would be my position. Yeah, somebody has a visitor. Hopefully it's not your second husband, but anyways. So my first question for the married or divorced woman who said no. I want to start again with Dr. Gabrielle Williams. Can we hear you now, Queen?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing you now. Praise the Lord. Because I'll hand it over to Ariel Paredes. You ask her why she would. Because I mean, you must be getting frightened and cold feet up in the air with all these queens who married.
Right? Like I mean, I know marriage is tough, but okay. So why would you? I mean, we're not putting this out there at all. You're going to be very happily married until you both go to the grave, which is a long way away. But I'm just saying, why? Yeah, why would you not want to, if you met somebody new and it was this really big connection, even a small intimate ceremony or justice of the peace, why would that not appeal to you at all?
At the expense of sounding like overly sappy and making everyone want to throw up. I think my husband is going to be a really tough act to follow.
I get that.
And so I just the way that I feel about him, I don't know that like there's anyone else. And I'm not even that person that believes in soulmates and all that stuff. I think that there's probably more than one person you can make it work with. But I just like he's it. And so I like right now in the space that I am, and because I'm so happily married, I don't know that I have any interest in like doing that again and like feeling like it's not as good or not believing that I'll get anything as good as I have it.
Yeah. So Asali, why would you say no?
Well, very similar to what Victoria is saying here is that, my husband and I've known him my whole life, right? Like we've known each other our entire life. My mother was his godmother. And I feel like just the connection that we have, I don't think that I could ever get that with anybody else.
Yeah.
And so I have no interest in trying to commit myself long-term to anyone else.
I got you. Lesley Ann Bailey, what about you?
Well, I don't know. I feel like I could be a bit selfish here, but the wedding is one thing and it's a wonderful time, but the work really comes after, and it's a lot of work that has been put into it, and a lot of granted, my husband helped to guide me with the work because really and truly, I think in the partnership I needed to work harder. I'm not sure if I want to do that again. I don't think it's possible to really go through that process and be fulfilled again. Okay. I could be wrong, but not from me.
Well, let's ask the divorcee on the panel. Dr. Alan Eastman. What's your rebuttal to these queens who are all happily married from the information I have? And yet they're not willing to go down that road again. You've been down that road and you're saying that, yes, you would do it again. Now you would do it again.
Yeah, well, I could understand where they're coming from because my parents actually, they would have been married 49 years this year, like August was 49 years. And I've heard them talk about it. And I know for my mom, she has said she wouldn't do it again. She has said, like, if my father died today and if she had the opportunity to remarry, she wouldn't. And even if she was a little younger, and she's been saying that for years, it's not the first time. So I think that's nothing new. I think it's even beyond being happily married. I mean, even conceptualizing, being separated from that person and having to start over, that's a whole different mindset. For me, I had to face that reality going through a divorce. So I had to that spun me around like 360 or 180 degrees rather. So so when you're divorced now, like when I first got divorced, I was like, hell's no, not getting married ever again. Like, don't even step up. Don't even watch my weight. Right. So so now that was a God process for me, bringing me back to even thinking about and thinking about even having someone in my life again. But I can see where they're coming from. And then Les, of course, with the work. Marriage is a lot of work. It's really hard, and
no, it's easy. I'm joking.
Yeah. But when you're outside looking in, it looks
very
simple,
hard. It's very hard.
But it's very tough. It's very tough.
So, what's interesting. So, what's interesting is that nobody seemed to refer to the financial aspects of the decision. Like for me, that is ever present in my mind. Like, I don't play with my money, honey. And I cannot fathom at the stage I'm at in my life, because by this stage, my husband and I would have built together.
Right.
And I have children. And I am a woman of a particular age, so I can't bear any more children in a new situation. Right? So my goal as the natural motherly instinct in me is to protect my chicks. Yeah. My, as J-Lo would call them, my coconuts, right? And I putting what you have, I endorse what all the other women said, especially Dr. Williams and Asali Uday. I don't know a man who can measure up to my husband. I good. So this has not, I don't think that God would have put like this exact model on the earth. And no, it's the truth. Anybody who know me very well, I don't know anybody who can measure up for that, for me, right? Your husband can measure up for you, and otherwise, and you all have amazing partners. So putting that side, let me just say that. Even if the man could have measured because I had like a very terrible person or something like that, it's just not it's not a very easy decision. It would have to be like, wow, financially, could I be that vulnerable? And that's my question to you guys. And I would go back to Dr. Gabriel Williams and say, what about the financial piece? Like, I cannot share my money with no new guy. I just can't bring myself to be that vulnerable. The things I've worked hard for, like, I would feel so vulnerable. I can't do it. There's prenup, but you can get around prenup. My kids come first. And it's not a materialistic thing. My children, I have to protect my children. So for me, I'm just being authentic. What about you?
Yeah, I think so too. Like, one of the things about marriage is that there are so many things that you vary, and one of them is your finances. And so the thought of like tangling that all and then, starting over again, it does seem overwhelming. Now, if we were talking about a situation where that's like not an issue, then I probably still wouldn't. I always joke and say that if I ever got divorced or something happened to Eli, I would have like a little young tenderoni and a sugar daddy.
That's right.
Basically have all ends covered. And so
you have let's for those who didn't hear, you'll have a young tenderoni and a sugar daddy. I like that. I totally endorse that.
Yeah. All bases covered.
All bases covered. Because the economics is real. I mean, Ariel, you haven't been married yet. So
I haven't.
From your perspective. How you feel
about the economics? Well, I was going to ask you as a question too, as far as you guys being married, because they always say first time you marry for love, second time you marry for money. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of, that's always not amongst people I know, but that's the, so you got a tenderoni and a sugar daddy.
Yeah.
This is such an interesting conversation because you guys are very happily married, which is great. And so it makes it very challenging for you to think outside of like, if this didn't work,
right?
Where, because so many people that get married and they're happy and it's so loving. And then 5 years, 10 years down the road, it went left. So what do you guys think about? I mean, you guys don't want to get married again. So, I mean, I don't, asking again that, would you get married? It's obviously love. Would it be a financial thing the next time, but.
I think too, one of the things that I can say, and I don't know if the other queens on the panel share this view, my view on marriage and love and so on has changed and it's also evolved. I personally feel that marriage is overrated.
You tell.
Really? Yeah. Okay, I can tell you. So
I'm like, you tell.
Yeah. So I just because I'm not the same person that I was 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I think I was raised to get married. I don't think that you can be with somebody who is your absolute soulmate, who will respect you, take care of you. I always said, if put in that position, I want a boyfriend. I mean, I don't want a tenderoni and a sugar daddy at the same time. Even though Dr. Williams has given me some ideas, I might have to go think about that overnight and see if that will work too and massage that model. But really, companionship and you see, again, it comes back to my kids. I'm like, I don't think my kids would ever know I have a man if I ever had to go in that direction. I would just, have a vacation partner. And we would meet each other at the airport and we'd leave each other at the airport. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
I just don't want that. I don't want to make up nobody bed. I have a big king size bed. I want to make up my side of the bed. I don't want to have to think about the other side of the bed. I don't know. Maybe I'm a woman of a particular age, so I'm getting, a little miserable or something. But it's just not for me.
Interesting.
I don't mean to make you all sad. Everybody's just like, oh my God, what did she say? Is there trouble in paradise in the Powell's residence?
It's not
and I don't mean to turn off anybody. I'm just saying it's not for everybody. So we shouldn't all feel as though you have to do this thing because it's nothing is wrong with you if you don't do it. You can still find love and enjoy love.
Yeah. I think the challenge is, and I mean, having been divorced and married, what you described there is the challenge of dating post-marriage, because both men and women have that idea. I've dated, I don't want to say anyone, but anyway, I've dated. And that line you said about I only wanted to make up my side of the bed, I've heard that.
The man said that.
Oh yeah.
I know. I think like a man. I hear that all the time. I think like a man.
Right. And for me, I'm like, yeah, fine. I'm okay with that. You only want to make up your side of the bed. I don't even want to make up the bed.
How about that?
How about that?
Ultimately, you have to make a decision. If you want to get married, get married. If you don't want to get married, that's fine. But I think it boils down to, what are you going to do with that? Are you going to be playing the field, having the tenderoni and the sugar daddy, right?
Yes. Or
are you going to make a decision? I think it becomes a little tricky after that. And Ariel will know too, dating some of these, these men, and it ranges. Like, you would think that a man who's married before would be better at certain things, better at relationships, more mature, knows what he wants. They're at a different level, and just like you expressed, Badger, they're saying things like that.
I think like a man. I mean, I read Steve Harvey's book.
There you go.
No, but honestly, I've always been more on the mental side with regards to matters of the heart, right? And I mean this. And if you don't know me and my husband, you'll be like, what's going on there down in the Powell's residence? Nothing. We fine up in here. But like the same things that I'm saying to you, I've always spoken like that to him. Maybe it turned him on, I don't know. But I've always said that. I've always said, this is how I feel about. Is that my phone or yours? Because none of my gadgets are open. Who's the culprit?
I don't know. I think it's.
Who's it?
I think it's me. I just don't know where it's coming from. I'm sorry.
That happens.
It's
so
great.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Okay, it's over.
It's over. Yeah. It's probably some man did that. They don't like what we're talking about. No, but seriously, I think we can't talk about something like this without really talking about if our views on marriage have changed because I think one of the reasons I have also said no, I won't remarry because my views about marriage has changed. I don't want to get out of my marriage, but if my husband makes the mistake and deal me those cards, he will unleash a nightmare in this world. Because I'm not one of those women who feel as though, well, I have to be married, I have to decide. I might end up being like Will Smith and Love with Freedom.
Interesting.
Yeah. I might end up loving in freedom because my views on love and I don't see a person as a property and as somebody express like a deed and whatever. I think we in this marriage should be happy. So if we're happy and we're having a good time, we need to be married. But you can also be happy in a long-lasting relationship that is not attached to a deed. And I say this for a lot of women out there who feel very frustrated or feel very envious. Like, oh my God, she married. Everything comes with a price. Right?
Ariel was gonna say,
yeah, go ahead.
I just had a question.
Go ahead.
I had a question for you, Dr. Ayana Eastman.
okay.
I do. Because I'm sure, like, when you got married, you were like, "This is it. He's my one." And then it did not work out. But now you're at a place where you're like, I could get married now. Is it because you did the work, you did the healing? Like, why are you? And it's coming from this is like, yeah. Would you said you get remarried, and you're the one who's been divorced. So why?
Definitely, it is a time thing. So I've literally been divorced, like, I want to say 9 years now. Okay. And they say that you should, for every 2 years of marriage, you need like a year of healing. And literally, I was married for about 4 years, like together living, and maybe like another 4 separated. So I would say I've passed the time in terms of the actual living together. But it took really the intervention of God in my life to say, and as Basia mentioned, even the growing process for me to think about it again, because I was devastated. I went through a cheating experience. I was not, like Basia, I was pretty open as far as, I thought like a man in many ways as well before. So I got married in my 30s. I almost made it to 40, almost, right? Because I just didn't see the need to be married. Although growing up in the church, I grew up in the church, but I didn't feel that urge to get married. So when I did, it was huge for me. And then to go through a cheating experience. And then we did counseling. So, I'm saying, okay, I'm married now. I have to work on it according to the church. The church doesn't like divorce. If you get divorced, you'll be known as a divorcee. They're going to look down on you. You're a failure. Your single friends were right. So I stuck with it for another year and a half, going through counseling and stuff like that. So by the time I actually made a decision, I felt like there was no other way. Like, I did my best. And then it was just an awful feeling because I blamed him until eventually, some of my friends and family started to say, listen, there were 2 of you in the marriage. It's not just one person. So even though you may blame the person for all that could possibly go wrong, including the sky blue being blue, I played a role, right. And what was my role? So I took a while to figure that out. And it took being in like other relationships as well, post-marriage, to kind of realize that I had issues, and I needed to deal with my issues and accept my issues and accept my role in the relationship and the failure of my marriage.
Yeah.
And I think once I was able to do that, I was able to move on. Yeah.
Yeah, and you speak and describe it and your feelings, because I did a poll with many women that I know personally and otherwise. But what I believe is the case in Dr. Ayana Eastman's situation, you didn't really you never wanted your marriage to end. You never your summary of your experience in your marriage was not an excellent one, right? Unlike other women in the panel who say on this panel who's saying that, well, we're happily married, we've done it. My story is complete in terms of the love that I've experienced from my particular husband, and I don't feel as though someone could come and give me that sort of equal or better in the future. So I've had that experience, and I'll be good with that. For some of the women I've spoken to, that's it. But in a case where you feel that you didn't get it, it's very normal for healing to take place, for you to want to get to rewrite that script,
Right.
for the want of a better expression. Would you say I'm correct, Dr. Eastman?
I can see that. I can see that. But then I don't have the concept of a soulmate either. I never did.
I never did either.
And I feel like there are many people in this world who God has designed for me and for you. And it's just a matter of where you are, you know, at that point in time. You know, so I don't think that that there's any one person for me. And my marriage feeling, yes, I feel like I used to say, let me say that, and that's what evolved. I used to say that I feel like I deserve better. But what if the best is me? Right? I'm the best.
Now we're talking.
Right?
I see Dr. Gabrielle Williams shaking her head. So I'll give her the nod after you're finished to make a comment.
Right. So just saying that I'm the best. The prize is me loving myself. And therefore someone coming into my life to understand that I'm the best. You know, and it's not about me, about ego and
it's self-love. It's self-love.
But understanding that. So even if I was in a quote unquote perfect marriage and something happened to my spouse, I think I want to still have that concept of me being the best and being able to find someone else who I'm able to be the best with.
And what we're saying, perfect. And what we're saying is that we don't even have to get married to that other person that we can love with freedom. That's what we're saying, right? Asali and Dr. Williams, right? So continue, Gabrielle.
I mean, I really like the concept of, you know, what you said and feeling like the self-love, because I do think that sometimes, especially for women, marriage is very much the end-all be-all. And that it's very glamorized, and that you know it's work.
It's work.
You know, and it's like, okay, now the wedding is over, the honeymoon is over, and we're building this life together, and it is like it's daily. And so that's the other part. It's just kind of like thinking about the inertia of getting to that point again.
Right.
That's part of it. It's kind of like we can do all the fun stuff and have fun and be vacation partners, because the other aspect is work. And I don't know if I'm here for it.
Nope. My story is complete. Nope. I'm not here for it.
So like a light companionship is what you guys are all suggesting, as opposed to like a more deeper level of a companionship?
No, not for you, right? Not for you, Ariel. We understand that you need a taste of this torture.
Yeah, no. A taste of the torture.
But then at the same time, though, I mean, like there are marriages where some people say for them it wasn't that much work, right? So it depends.
They're like
very few.
And then like my father, for me now, my father would always tell me, no money, no love. So
correct.
Even
Your father is right. Before
I got married, he's like, the reason you get married is to ensure that at the end of the day, even though you're with this person for 10,000 years and he never puts a ring on it or signs that dotted line, when he dies, his wife from 20,000 years ago could come and say, this is my property, because he never divorced that person.
Yeah, and
right?
I've known cases where that happened.
So, you know, the marriage is, on the one hand, we have this philosophical, airy-fairy thing, but it's a legal, binding contract that says there are obligations. I'm obligated to you. You are obligated to me according to the doctrines of the law.
And I get that, but I don't want to get married to anybody else. I've had in the poll I did this week prior to the show. I had someone say to me, you know what? I will get married again if he go in and die, and he can sign over everything to me. I was like, what?
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like, other than that, I'm not getting married. And you wouldn't believe, in this poll, like 99% of the women that from a cross-cultural and racial background said that they would not remarry.
But that's not statistically, the perspective that I read. It appears that many more women and men remarry.
Yeah.
No, but statistically, after, for example, in a case where a spouse is deceased, the man, and that is proven, and the men get remarried, most of whom get remarried like within 1 year.
Yeah, they do.
Not women take a longer time to get remarried. If they do it at all. If they do it
That's true. The women, yes.
But that's in the case of natural causes. But we're talking about everybody being alive here,
All right.
But it's just, for me, I think that you can find real love, to answer Ariel Paredes' question or concern. You can find deep love without having a deed attached to it.
That's right.
Especially when you are at a stage in your life where you have your own. Look at Queen Oprah. Hello?
Never. Yes.
You're talking about that. Yeah.
Look at Queen Oprah. Never did. And I'm not saying that everybody has to follow Oprah, but I'm saying that we have to do what's right for us in our soul. Like we don't, some of us don't need to be saved. We're not looking, unless, you're in a situation where you really want to have the tenderoni and the sugar daddy, like that, and nothing is wrong. Like we grew up being encouraged to judge. I am at a place in my life where I ain't judging nobody for their happiness.
No.
Whatever you have to do, once you're not out there killing people and committing crimes, whatever you have to do for your happiness is what you should do for your happiness. If it means being married, staying married. I don't know if you all saw the interview with Adele last night. It was amazing. It was truly authentic. How she described the guilt and pain for leaving her marriage.
Oh wow.
She felt she described it because she wasn't happy. But what do? Stay in something and you're not happy because society expects you to stay, because they've labeled you a failure because you are divorcee. Nothing's wrong with being a divorcee. Nothing's wrong with being single. Nothing's wrong with being married. What is wrong is if you're doing something that you don't want to do.
That's true.
Because of how it appears to other people.
Yeah. Nothing's wrong with any one of us on this platform being divorced, single, married. I don't like those labels, and I don't like the fact that society has been so tough on us as women. And then we grew up with those ideas and perpetuate that nonsense. Nothing is wrong if you decide, you know what, I don't want to live without my husband. I'm going to stay in this marriage, even if it's suffocating me. I'm happy being suffocated. There's some women that can't be on their own, so they stay. I am not here to judge them. I am not here to judge anybody. But don't judge me if I feel as though my happiness includes X, Y, and Z. We just need to be kinder to each other and really appreciate what works for one is not going to work for all. There's no exact science to happiness. Everybody has a different idea. Their soul connects with different things, different scenarios.
Yeah.
Which is why some people love people of the same sex. Some people love, the opposite sex. People have different desires to achieve fulfillment. And we need to be a little more respecting of that. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree 100% with that.
100%.
Yeah.
You feel me?
And I believe just like Dr. Ayanna Eastman stated, in terms of even just loving yourself, I love spending time by myself.
And I think that's why it's going to be hard for me to go down that road, because I love myself.
Me too.
I really do. I really
Me
do.
too.
You know, I get up in the morning and I look in that mirror and I'm like, bitch, you're hot.
I'm not saying all that, but okay.
I do all that. And I'm like, you're a magnet. You do that. Okay, I'm just kidding. But no, this self-love is important.
No, it is.
Because that allows you to enjoy the time you spend with yourself. And that, let me tell you, when you have self-love, that just make these men want to run you down to marry you more. That's the problem.
Is that the problem?
No, the truth. Like, you out here not trying to be married or not trying to be in a relationship. I'm
Right.
talking about my single years husband. That's what I'm talking about. You know, and these men running you down trying to, you know, lock your foot down, and because they just know that this is a queen that loves herself. She enjoys her own company.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than loving yourself. People run from people who do not love themselves, because you can tell immediately if somebody is not
For sure.
you can tell, you know. So I don't want to turn off Ariel Paredes. I want Ariel to know that if it is your desire is to get married, tell the universe to send you that king that's gonna have you feeling like us. Those of us who don't want to get married again, we're not leaving our husbands. We're just saying, should we be dealt the cards of, hey, we're good. Story complete.
Done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So pray for one of those so that you when we talk to you the next time on this topic a year from now, we'll be like, no, I mean, I'm married and I don't want to get married again.
Your lips to God's ears.
What? You know how God listens to me, okay? You know how God listens to me. You would not believe, you know? But no, it's serious.
Yeah.
I just don't want people to think that marriage is the be all and end all, and something is you're broken if you don't have you're not happily married. You can be happily unmarried. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, how about that? But I have to go and massage this tenderoni sugar daddy concept for real. 100%. 100%. You know, it's the truth. I've never heard it like that. I mean, I would call it a younger man and an older man, but tenderoni sugar daddy, that's a better term. I'm running with that, honey. I have to go do some negotiations tonight. I'm like, maybe I need to consider tenderoni and a sugar daddy. Anyway, that's what I love about this podcast. We're global. We bring women from all over the world to this, to discuss topics that affect us as women. Topics that other people, by the way, are afraid to talk about openly. We talk about it here with respect on the Ask Basia podcast. And we're never afraid to disagree, but we do it with class. You feel me? So, ladies, tell the people where you're at. Dr. Victoria Gabrielle Williams, where you at? Where are you now?
You mean physically? Or...
Location, honey.
Oh, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Dr. Ayana Elaine Eastman, where you at?
Collegedale, Tennessee.
And Lesley Ann Bailey, where you at?
Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Ariel Paredes, where you at, Queen?
Los Angeles, California, and it is sunny and hot today.
All right. Don't get us upset here now. Asali Uday, where you at, Queen?
I'm in Demarest, New Jersey.
Oh, the Garden State of New Jersey.
Garden State.
And guys, we have a new segment called Speak on It, and talking about love and marriage and so on. I just wanted to talk about okay, I think I pressed that twice. So basically, I want to speak on Sex and the City reboot. It's back. I think they're calling it, Ariel, they're calling it.
And just like that.
That's right. And I am so excited. I think you're more excited than me. I can't wait, I can't begin to tell you. Go ahead.
Let me tell you, I've seen every episode a billion times each. So, and when I was younger, I'm not aging myself, but I was very young when it came out and I loved it. But as I get
about five. You
got it. I relate so much more to the episodes. I'm like, I know what they're talking about. Now I get it. Like single in your did like I get it. But
that was my Sunday nights. I remember, you know, I was a much younger queen at the time, like maybe about 15, living in Jamaica. And I used to, Sunday nights, my girls and I used to get together and, you know, who would carry end up with. It was amazing. Could they reprise that kind of feeling in me? I don't know. I heard some people today on some of the talk shows complaining about the diversity aspect of the reboots. I mean, it wasn't diverse for morning. So, I mean, I think they may mess it up to try and force it in. What do you think, Lesley Ann Bailey?
No, then it needs to be diverse. Yes, we need to include all. Yes. Yeah. You know, just like you all, obviously, I loved it back in the 90s, right? And I enjoyed it. And the early 2000s, I enjoyed every episode. I loved the cast. But, you know, I really never thought about it as not being diverse. Until you know, recently.
So back in the 90s, you didn't realize it wasn't diverse.
Honestly, I didn't. I was just caught up with the, you know, with the fashion and with the, you know, the love and all this. It was just fantastic. So I never thought about it until I heard somebody mention. I said, "Oh my God, not somebody of Puerto Rican descent or you know, Hispanic descent. Somebody who's African American in New York."
New York. It wasn't an accurate description at all. Like an accurate representation.
Yes, not at all. Maybe, you know, maybe Minneapolis or something, but not.
Listen, ladies, some things are not meant to be diverse. I would savor the moment and it will take me back to my 90s, in my 1990 days when, you know, I was popping and shopping. And I can't wait to see how they allow these female characters to evolve.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of talk about how Sarah Jessica has aged and her gray hair is showing. I'm like, you see, we continue to punish women for getting older. So I am anxious to see what the writers would do with this whole new concept of ageism and, you know, among women and so on. And hopefully they can morph a new character in there of any other color. It doesn't have to be African American.
Well, they are. Nicole Ari Parker. She's going to be their new friend. Okay. So yeah.
So
I'm here for it.
Hold on. But she's a supporting actor, Ariel Paredes. She's a supporting. We'll take her. All right. Okay.
Yes.
Coming in
somewhere.
I just want to see them embrace the age factor because I read the article with the gray hair thing, and I mean, right now I sport my gray hair, and you know, every now and again I do put a little color to the front, but I mean, but other than that, I think it minimizes, at least for me, attracting the younger males. If that's an issue. But I'm embracing getting older.
I want it becomes a thing when Hollywood, as in Ariel's world, would start making it cool and stop punishing women for getting whatever older means to them. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm getting better, you know?
But I thought that was one of the things that was so, you know, one thing that's noteworthy is that Mr. Big was always older.
Always.
And, you know what I mean? But, you know, that made him sexy. That made him, like, that was not an issue. But one of the things that I thought was somewhat groundbreaking about the show is that Samantha was older. She's clearly older than the rest of them. And
but she's not coming back.
Well, she's not coming back, but even back then, it was kind of, you know, she was who she was even.
And she had younger guys. Yeah, that's right.
And she had the younger guys.
100%.
So I thought that was kind of, you know, groundbreaking at the time that, you know, the Samantha character, even though she was older, clearly older, probably as old as Mr. Big was, and she was still living the life, having fun. And it, you know, it wasn't really a big deal. Now, one thing that I did, I think it was the last season or maybe the second to last season when they paired Blair Underwood with Samantha.
With Samantha.
I remember that.
No, not Samantha. No, it was
not Samantha. Miranda.
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
Like, okay.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah. Like,
you feel away.
Let's not judge. Let's see how we have evolved. Like, remember I said 20 years ago, you know, I was all caught up thinking that you had to be married, you had to be this, you had to be that. And I've evolved. Maybe the writers and the women themselves, the characters, the producers, they've evolved as well. I'm looking forward to seeing them handle ageism and all the other isms properly.
Right. Well, with that, put in the STD story, because I don't think they have addressed that pretty well in that show at all.
Do tell.
Have you ever seen it addressed? I mean, like, it's like, it's just assumed that
Ariel Paredes is saying
no, they did, because remember Samantha was that when she went to the doctor for blood work,
Yes.
and then they were like, let's give you an HIV test, and then she thought they were taking her to like the room, and she fainted because they were like, how many partners have you had?
Yes.
So
I remember that episode.
it was a one-off episode, but
a one-off, not enough to cover the number of scenes we've seen. So I think that's important.
Yeah, I agree.
In there.
Agreed. We have to act responsibly. If we want to address ageism and ism, we have to address STDs, otherwise known as the fire crutch. Yes.
I gotta say, I'm not that interested in it coming back. Like, I'm not excited about it.
Okay.
why?
The outlier.
Why?
Partly because I feel like it ran its course. I feel like it served its purpose, right?
Yeah.
Fashion was great in the 90s.
Yes.
But like, Samantha's broad, brash sexuality was really cool, right?
so
Cherry
empowering.
chasing the guy, right? All of that was really fun. But I feel like now
you must be curious to see how their perspective has changed as they got older. That's all. And they have 6 episodes to prove it to me, and then I'll tell you how I feel about it in a later episode of the Basia video podcast. But in the meantime, I want to wrap up. I want to encourage everybody to follow us all on Instagram. Our handles are here and in the body of the article associated with this broadcast. I wish I could go on and on, but all good things must come to an end. This is a reason we created this podcast, to bring outstanding women together from around the world to discuss important lifestyle issues affecting all women. I want to leave you with this. If you're going through a divorce, a separation, I hope this podcast provided some emotional clarity for you. Things and times have changed, and women do not have to be married to live their best life. All you need is a tenderoni and a sugar daddy. I'm joking.
I'm done.
I'm done, 100%. Marriage is sometimes overrated. I agree, and it's not for everybody. But what's important is that you live your best life and be true to yourself. Authenticity wins. And remember, God never takes anything from you without giving you better. And to quote my son Ross, ladies, you did a great job. Remember to live the life you love and love the life you live. I see you guys next week. Bye. We're out.